Hey, it's Jeff Zito, and thanks for checking out another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast, streaming on all platforms, wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're on all of them. So please subscribe, would love a 5-star rating, and leave a review. You can check out past episodes online at celebrityjobber.com. You can also follow on Instagram, celebrity_jobber_podcast, or youtube.com/the@celebrityjobber. We're pretty much talking to celebrities about their former life, who they were before they became famous. What did they do? How about a first job? Or their big break, the moment or thing that changed it all. Today's guest used to be my neighbor in St. Petersburg, Florida, but has now moved to Tennessee. He is the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion. His autobiography, A Chosen Destiny, My Story, was released back in 2021. And also just made his acting debut in the action comedy The Killer's Game alongside former WWE superstar Dave Bautista. He's one of the biggest names in professional wrestling today. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew McIntyre is my guest this week on Celebrity Jobber.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, give a 5-star rating, and leave a review. Check out all our past episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you pod. What if these celebrities weren't famous? What would they have become? What was their first job? We're about to find out.
What's up, champ? How's it going?
Oh, not too bad, brother. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Last time we talked, me and you were neighbors, but you were.
Oh yeah.
You moved. You got out. You went to Nashville.
We're making it happen. Yeah, we've been talking about making this happen for a minute.
Yeah, what?
In Nashville.
What is it? I mean, Tampa is like where everybody lives in the world of professional wrestling, and I'm not too sure why that is. Is it taxes? Well, personal stuff. But why did you decide to move? I know everybody's moving to Nashville. It's a happening spot.
Well, I live outside of Nashville, more in like a compound, away from everybody. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in Tampa. It's my second home, a home away from home. I was there from 22 to my mid-30s, my formative years. And I consider it very much home. But yeah, everyone from freaking work kept moving there, and I was sick of seeing the sight of everyone at work. I was got to see frickers. Got to watch my language being Scottish. See those frickers all day long at work. And then I got to see them in my personal time as well. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm a bit of a rambling man. I travel. We should try and move somewhere different. And we moved here, and it's been great because it's not Nashville. We're not down Broadway, involved in that scene. I'm literally on the compound away from everybody. And if anybody comes near my land, I shout, "Get off my land!" It's like an old Scottish farmer. So I love it out here.
Well, you're going to be back in. You're going to be back in at your old home this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So we're all looking forward to that. And let me just say this. I talked to a guy that you're not particularly fond of recently, and what he was telling me was before wrestling, he was a bouncer at a bar on the Jersey Shore. So what I wanted to know, Drew, was before wrestling, because you've been in this game for a long time, man. What did you do? What kind of job did you have before you got involved in this?
It's a crazy one, a professional wrestler.
That was your.
I've been doing this.
Was that your first job?
I've been doing it since I was 15. Yeah, I've been wrestling since I was 15 years old. Like I guess I worked briefly in like a bar here and there for like literally a month or two, like while I was at university during the week. But every weekend, my job was wrestler. Since I debuted consistently at 16 every weekend. I'd work when I was at high school. And then when I went to university, same deal. Every weekend I would wrestle. Every summer holiday, I would travel for 3 months wrestling. That's all I've ever done. All I've wanted to do. And as I tell everybody, if you want to do something, then freaking do it. And some of the guys in wrestling say, "Oh yeah, I always wanted to do wrestling." So I started at like 22 or 23. Like, then you didn't always want to do it. I did it when I was 15. So shut it.
Wow. So your very first paying job in the squared circle?
Yeah, it wasn't much money, but yeah, the first thing I ever got paid for a hard day's work was a battle royal, and I made a solid £10, which I guess maybe it's probably the equivalent of $10, which was pretty, it was better than a hot dog and a handshake, and I got that whole £10, and I spent it instantly on a couple of beers.
Right.
Not saying I was drinking underage, but I am saying I'm Scottish.
Celebrity Jobber. The Celebrity Jobber podcast with Jeff Zito.
When you tell your parents, I mean, because they're not wrestlers, you're not from a family of wrestlers, correct? Your parents had a regular jobs growing up, right?
Yeah, I mean, relative to the wrestling, but yeah, got a few fights in their time,
right?
I'd say, in bars and the likes, but not technically their job. No, it didn't come from wrestling.
So like, what? How did they support this? Because it had to be, if you were like, hey, mom, dad, this is the kind of direction that I want to go in life, and they were very supportive, I understand, of your choice early on. Had you convinced them that to get behind you?
I mean, for my mom, like, she was always so supportive of everything I wanted to do, no matter how crazy it was. She would, one, assume I'll grow out of it, or two, she kind of knows that Drew's going to do what Drew's going to do. Like, I'm going to,
right.
Like, no matter how ridiculous it might be, like, she knows I'm going to push right through, so she's going to support me no matter what. For my dad, it was just, okay, we'll support you, but you just got to stick in at school. And my mom was always helping out, along with, like, her mother and my grandmother. My nana was like a second mom. To me, they would help me out financially to go training. Like, the wrestling school I went to when I was 15 was a 12-hour journey there and a 12-hour journey back from Ayr, Scotland to Portsmouth, England. So it wasn't cheap to learn to wrestle. Then I had to start a wrestling scene in Scotland because there was no wrestling scene. We had an adult who rented a facility because I was 15. And then I would train the guys with what I was learning on this 24-hour round trip, with my mom and my nana helping pay for that.
Wow.
And then for my dad, I stuck in at school right through, went to university, got my degree in criminology in Glasgow, and then I was signed the same year to WWE 21.
Wow.
Came straight from my parents' house, straight from university to America, and it was a culture shock and a freaking half.
I bet. So, Drew, you're just telling me you majored in criminology. So what were you were you doing that just because you were interested in you found that interesting to keep your attention in school, or maybe were you thinking if wrestling didn't work out you would go into what field? Was that ever in your mind?
No, I mean, you're right in the first part. I did it because I thought it was very interesting. I've always been very into the CSI, and I'm looking at an action figure of Jessica Fletcher, Murder, She Wrote. The greatest serial killer of all time, Jessica Fletcher, moved from town to town, committing murders and helping solve the case before she moves to the next town, and somebody dies again. What a shock. And, the X-Files and paranormal and all this kind of stuff. So, like, I went into my high school meeting with a guidance counselor, and they were saying, what do you want to do with your life? I'm going to be in WWE. He's like, if you're not, I am. Okay, so let's say I am. Okay, Drew, you have to do something to pass the time. Let's say, yes, I'll do it to pass the time. There's no if I don't get in WWE, because I'm gonna literally look my guidance teacher in the eye as a kid and say, this is what I'm doing. I'll be the first Scottish person to be signed from Scotland to America. No one can tell me otherwise. And they finally found this program after telling me to do business. And Drew, you get A's in business. You've obviously got a talent for that. But no interest, boring as hell. I'm not going to use that later on. I'm going to have somebody do that for me. And, okay, how about this? Criminology is a brand new course in Glasgow, Caledonian University. It's 30 minutes basically from where your house is, where your parents' house is. Does that sound interesting? That does sound interesting. Let's do that to pass the time. And it was interesting, and I had fun. But then, obviously, I managed to achieve the dream because I was not taking no for an answer.
Right. Now, when you were younger, like really younger, you dreamt of being a professional footballer, or, as we call it here in the States, soccer. And that was your passion. That was your love. When did wrestling kind of take over?
It was both of them. Like, as a kid, like from age 5 to about age 11, I would have been content with playing football, like soccer professionally for my team, Glasgow Rangers, or WWE, but that was more the one everybody kind of laughed at. Like, there's thousands of soccer teams to play for. At that time, there was only one WWE in big America growing up that you could actually go to and make a full-time living, so it seemed ludicrous to everybody. So that was more in the back of my head, and that's the one I really want. And eventually, I was pretty good at football, but don't know the elite level. But I was so focused on wrestling. I was sent into America at 10 years old for the inside secrets of wrestling. I got these books sent over that told me the backstage workings and how I had to keep the secrets from everybody. So I kept them in a briefcase, and I'd go to school and everybody would talk about WWE like it was UFC at the time. And I'd play along because I was keeping the secrets because I was inside the business at 10 years old. So I was really just adamant this is what I was going to do, no matter what. And as much as it would be cool to play football for my team or whatever, it was always wrestling. And last year, during our big show in Glasgow, where I got screwed out of the world title, because I've been screwed constantly for 2 years out of the world title. Yeah, you sure have. But I got inducted into the Scottish Wrestling Hall of Fame at Ibrox Stadium. So it was kind of cool to bring the two worlds together. That's my soccer team that I wanted to play for when I was a kid. It's big stadium. I got inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame there last June. So that was pretty cool, but the two worlds collided.
That's awesome.
Celebrity Jobber. The Celebrity Jobber podcast with Jeff Zito.
So, Drew, when was it look, you've been at this for a while and you've been, at an elite level for a while. But you just told me earlier that, your first paycheck was, at a battle royal for 10 pounds. So tell me, what was the match or the moment? Was there some particular moment that changed your life, that it was over? And and you became who you are now, whether it was fame, money, or was there a particular incident that happened that changed your life, or was it a gradual kind of climb?
There's been multiple incidents that have changed my life and changed my perception of what I want in this life and what's important in this life. Thankfully, I've got a book out there, My Chosen Destiny, available now for everybody to read the full version of my story. But, I got my dream. I was signed when I was young, but I also got fired at 29 years old after 8 years in WWE. I got in some bad habits, was maybe going out and about, down Howard and the likes a bit too often, like every day.
Me too. Don't worry.
And burning the candle at both ends, and just wasn't given all to my career, and had some unresolved issues. I'd lost my mother during that time, and really was in a dark place, and I had to be away from the company to find myself. And a pivotal moment for me, when I'm telling everybody where I really changed things around, was I broke my neck, non-displaced fracture, so it's a lot more serious than it sounds. It took about 8 weeks to heal. It's not good, but it's not surgery. And I was sitting down for the first time in my life. So I'd been at school the whole time until I came to America. Then I was in the WWE schedule. Then I was on my own schedule when I was fired, which was even busier than WWE. This was the first time I was sitting down. And my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, told me, listen, things are going pretty well outside of WWE from a wrestling perspective, but you're going to crash and burn. It's not sustainable how hard you're running and partying and treating your body like this. And eventually I'm going to leave your arse as well. So you've got that in your future with no me, and you're going to crash and burn. And I had to look myself in the mirror and just go, you know what? She's right. This isn't sustainable. I'm tired all the time. I'm sore all the time. Hungover all the time. I really got to make some changes. So I made some, big changes in my life. I improved my diet. I cut out, drinking. It's like 6-7 days a week, I think it was at the time. Suddenly my thinking was clearer. I had all these big ideas, and my body changed dramatically. I looked like I'd eaten the previous version of myself. I'm 6'5", 275 pounds right now. That was almost instantly how much, changing my diet and training changed my appearance. But more importantly, I didn't just get better as a wrestler. I finally grew up, and the boy I was during the time where I got fired and outside the company, I finally became a man. And that was a pivotal moment of my life. So I always suggest to people, if you want to achieve your dreams, you just break your neck and get fired. That wonders for me.
Man, that was pretty deep. I wasn't expecting that, champ. So let me ask this question. Let's get back to somebody that you're not particularly fond of. I want to know who is the person, because I'm going to guess, but you're going to tell me the real answer. Who is the person you walk by and your eyes just water because of the stench? Who needs the deodorant more than anybody? I would imagine it's Damian Priest, but I want to know who really waters your eyes when you walk past him.
Priest smells fine. He's just an absolute parasite that wouldn't be relevant, and no one would care about him if it wasn't for Drew McIntyre. So he's a fine smelling parasite. But I'm trying to think of someone that stinks from the roster. I think most people kind of generally take care of themselves. You get a reputation pretty quick if you stink. And to this day, if you listen to some of the wrestling podcasts, there's so many around, they talk about the same people constantly who smell bad in the locker room, and I don't think anybody wants that reputation. But during WrestleMania weekend, I gave a PSA because obviously so many people come together from all across the world at WrestleMania weekend, and it applies to this weekend as well. And I want to give this because it's my second home in Tampa, and it's a 4-day event. We got all the big WWE events going on. A lot of people are traveling to Tampa for these WWE events. So everybody, if you're going to meet the superstars, one, don't go to the hotel and harass them there. We don't come to your houses and harass you there. And two, most importantly of all, it's really hot in Tampa. It's really sweaty. The worst thing we have in the world is when fans come up to us and you freaking stink. We can't concentrate what you're saying. Even if you're given like the most amazing story, the most, oh my God, I love wrestling, you changed my life, you inspired me, Drew, and that means the world to me, but I can't concentrate if my eyes are watering from the stench. So just be aware. Just be aware of personal hygiene, and we're going to be best mates.
It's a really simple thing, you know. And you walk through the grocery store.
You would think.
You're right. You walk through the Publix, you know, and all of a sudden your eyes are watering because it seems like this guy hasn't left his parents' basement in 4 or 5 months, and it's amazing, but it's so true. I'm glad that you're the one that comes out and says it to everyone, man.
That's part of my character. I'm truthful all the time. And these days, some people consider me a bad guy. You know, in Tampa, when I was there, I was the big good guy, Scottish warrior. But I was always saying what I believe. And I still say what I believe. That's why I'm the warrior. I'm not just the warrior in the ring because I'm a badass. I'm a warrior in the microphone because everyone, not just in wrestling, in society is too scared to say the truth. Because people might not like them and they might cancel them. I don't care. I'm going to say exactly what I think all the time. If you stink, I'm going to tell you stink.
The Celebrity Jobber Podcast with Jeff Zito. Celebrity Jobber.
Saturday night's main event. It's the Yingling Center, steel cage. What do you want this guy? What do you want Damian Priest to know? What do you want him to hear right now from you prior to stepping in the steel cage Saturday night?
Well, last Saturday, he tried to kill me. And the problem, Priest, is I'm still alive. I'm still walking. I can't turn my head to the left properly. Chokeslam off a 15-foot stage through 2 tables, and my head missed the second table and slammed off a concrete floor. Literally tried to kill me, not just end my wrestling career. And I'm still standing. I beat the guy at WrestleMania. I beat him in front of the world. I beat him in front of his own mother. In his match, he's the street fight king. He's the street king. I beat him in a street fight at WrestleMania, and the guy's a parasite and will not get out of my life. So the only option now is to completely take him out inside the cage match in Tampa in front of all my people in my second home. I am going to absolutely destroy the guy till he's on his knees begging for mercy.
I can't wait. Drew, one final question. I know you're not going to answer it, but I got to ask anyway. The rumor is you're going to have a starring role in a big movie coming up. That true? And can you tell me what it is?
Ooh, so looking on in Drew McIntyre's life. We'll see what the future. We'll see what the future holds, but some exciting opportunities happening. Thanks to Dave Bautista, who lives in the area as well, getting me an opportunity on the Killers game, and I had such a fun time on that set. It's not something I saw in my life, even though people tell me all the time, Drew, you look like you're falling out of Braveheart and Game of Thrones. Why don't you give this acting an opportunity or these movies an opportunity? I'm a wrestler. I don't care about that. But thanks to Dave, I got a bit of the bug, so we'll see what the future holds.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for this weekend. The WWE taking over Tampa Memorial Day weekend, Saturday night's main event. You can't miss it. Steel cage, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Unbelievable. Champ, good talking to you, man, and can't wait to see you in action this weekend.
Appreciate it, brother. Glad we finally got to do this chat, and it'll be good to see everybody in Tampa once again. And I'm not crazy these days, but I might see you all down Howard after the show because that's an appropriate time to hang out.
Yeah, it is. And maybe we can meet up at the Blind Goat for a Heineken Zero. How does that sound?
It sounds wonderful. Just everybody make sure if you're talking to Drew McIntyre, frickin' wear deodorant. Smelly bums.
Take care, brother. Thank you, man.
Take care, brother. Thank you.
Yes, Drew McIntyre. He definitely is not a fan of people that smell bad. So, I mean, pretty crazy. His very first paying job was 10 pounds in a battle royal. A professional wrestler. He was always a professional wrestler. He did say he had a couple jobs at bars and stuff like that. early on when he was in university, as he majored in criminology. Now, I asked him if he wanted to go, into law enforcement or go into that world at any point in time, and he said, no, not really. It just really interested him. Murder, She Wrote. I couldn't believe that Murder, She Wrote. He actually used to watch that show with Angela Lansbury. My grandmother used to watch that show. Regardless, he said that was something that interested him and kept his interest through college. But, before college, maybe a professional soccer player was where Drew McIntyre could have gone into. He said they were both wrestling and soccer, both his loves. And, when I asked about, if his parents were supportive, they were. So he kept his promise to his mom. He went to college and then pursued his dream of professional wrestling. Now, when I asked what his big break was, sometimes people will tell you, after a certain film role or, in his case, after maybe a certain match, things got him to the superstar level, like kind of where he is now. But no, he mentioned that like the thing that changed everything for him was a very difficult period of time where he got a little emotional. He broke his neck. He got fired, and he was drinking a lot, and to the point where his wife said to him, hey, look, if you don't cut it out with the drinking, I'm out of here. And he said it was that moment in time where he got his life together, straightened up, and everything changed for him personally and professionally. I thought it was very, very cool of him to go into detail about that time of his life, because, we can all relate. We've all gone through those dark times. And Drew McIntyre is no different. He's a human being. And I'm pretty sure a new job for Drew McIntyre is going to be movie star. As I mentioned earlier, he was in the action comedy The Killer's Game alongside WWE superstar Dave Bautista. That was just last year. And there's some other things coming down the pike for Drew McIntyre in the world of Hollywood movies. So exciting times for the former WWE champ. And thanks so much for checking out another episode of the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. Once again, streaming on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. So please subscribe. Would love a 5-star rating, and please leave a review. Past episodes and guests online at celebrityjobber.com. And once again, follow on Instagram, celebrity_jobber_podcast, and youtube.com/the@celebrityjobber. I'm pretty sure Drew McIntyre wouldn't have been working in a bar, but he could have been a professional soccer player, but it just seems like wrestling was what he wanted to do from day one. And guess what? He did it. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Celebrity Jobber Podcast. Until next week, we'll see you then. I'm Jeff Zito.